Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I'm sorry, I have to use the phone today to do my video. For some reason, the lighting here is not great for the big camera and it wants to go in and out of focus. This is the third time now I'm trying to do this video, so let's see if I can get it out this time. Lots in the news. Juneau, Alaska, limiting cruise ships. Does that mean there's only going to be a couple of ships in cruise port from now on? Maybe not. We also have two stories from Celebrity Cruise Line. Both of them, not great stories. So our first story is Juneau, Alaska has just signed an agreement with CLIA, the Cruise Line Association and Cruise Lines, and they say that they are going to limit the amount of ships coming into Juneau, Alaska to 5 large cruise ships. And Juneau, of course, is one of those popular ports in Alaska. It has one of the biggest populations of whales for whale watching. Lots to do in Juneau, Alaska. However, well, what does large cruise ships mean? How large is large? If a cruise ship comes in with 988 passengers on it, like a Viking ship, does that mean that's just considered a small cruise ship? Is there a possibility we're going to see 7, 8 cruise ships in port anyway, because 3 of them don't count as large cruise ships? Who knows? Either way, we don't really have to worry about it for the rest of this Alaska season. It's all about 2024 next year. So if they're very strict with the size limit, saying 5 cruise ships period, then you may see some itinerary changes. Now, I do believe they won't just cancel the port altogether. What you will see is them go to another port first and mix and match the cruise ships in order to fit as many as possible in the proper schedule. But who knows, you may end up skipping a port and going further up or stopping an extra day in Canada. Who knows? We'll have to see what all this means when it plays out. Next, we also have Celebrity Cruise Line. Not a good look right now for some stories from Celebrity. Celebrity is one of my favorite cruise lines out there. You know I love their suite class on the Edge. They have some of my favorite entertainment, some of my favorite restaurants to eat at. But I sailed on the Celebrity Millennium when I went over to Japan. And that's the ship that they're now canceling people's cruises. 12-day cruise in October of this year, going to Japan, through Japan. Well, they say they've somehow had a glitch in the booking engine or something along those lines, a one-time thing, a rare occurrence, they're calling it. And unfortunately, they're canceling people's cruises. Not everyone, of course, just so many people. However, the other times it happened was with Royal Caribbean and Princess, and what they did is offer people the chance to move the booking, offering them, say, some onboard credits if they did so. Celebrity apparently has just come out and said, sorry, we're going to have to cancel your cruise altogether. And so some people are getting very frustrated and very sad letters saying that, hey, that cruise you thought you have coming up in a few months, well, I'm afraid we're canceling it. And again, what's with all these cruise lines like the Wonder of the Seas overselling twice, the Princess cruise ship overselling, and now Celebrity Millennium has oversold as well. Crazy that this keeps happening. How this software issue hasn't been solved, because that's 3 times now with Royal Caribbean Group. 2 on Royal, 1 on Celebrity, both all the same company, all use the same booking engine. They got to do something to fix that. And then we have this next story. Now, before I tell you a little bit about it, it's a very touchy subject, because we're talking about somebody passing away and what happens to the remains afterwards. Is if you're like me, you want to see somebody who passes away treated with as much respect and with much dignity as possible. It should be very sterile, very clean, very caring, very loving. And that's my motto. Well, apparently a couple were on a trip and the gentleman passed away from heart conditions. And the sole remaining spouse was given two options. One, the body can remain on the seas, on the ship, in the morgue for 5 days until the ship got back to port, at which time it would be transferred over to a mortician and a funeral home, and they would look after it. Or she could take it off the ship right now and fly it home. However, if she takes it off the ship, the local police may say, because it's coming from a cruise ship, they need to perform an autopsy, and there could be a whole legal, precedent, paperwork, and all these other things that might come into play that wouldn't if they just remained on the ship. So they agreed, yes, that sounds like the best plan, of course, to do this. And the body remained on board for 5 days. Now, unfortunately, when a mortician showed up from the funeral home to pick up the body, it wasn't in the morgue. They couldn't find the body in the morgue. No one knew where it was. Well, apparently, the morgue had broken down. And so they moved the body, get this, not to the freezer, but to a beverage fridge cooler, like a large storage for beverages where drinks are stayed. A body in a morgue is kept at near freezing temperatures. That's why it doesn't decompose and it doesn't bloat up or anything like that. That's why it can be done that. That's why it's there for things like this. But a barely chilled freezer, refrigerator kind of system apparently he was just sitting there on a pallet until somebody came and saw it. According to the mortician, the body had started to deteriorate. It actually started turning green, etc., etc. Very bad stuff, right? Very bad look, very bad feeling. It's very uncomfortable thinking about this. I know if I was traveling there and I passed away, this is definitely not how I would want my remains handled. And if I was there with a loved one, I definitely would not want their remains handled this way. Of course, because this is a lawsuit, right now Celebrity is not making any comments on it. But from the lawsuit, according to the lawyer, the things that come out about the condition of the deceased afterwards is very kind of chilling and very, I want to say, pretty gross sounding, and to the point where you got to wonder, how did somebody let this happen? Right? At some point, somebody had to take responsibility. Did the captain come and say, you know what? Let's just put him in the freezer. Let's put him in a fridge. Well, should we put him in the freezer then, Cat? No. Put him in the fridge. That'll be good enough. That's a bad look. And at one point it'll be the doctors that probably made this decision because it's a medical situation, and they would advise the captain and they would advise the hotel director, etc. But whoever, if this is a complete accurate account of what happened, whoever made this decision made a horrible decision, and I don't know if I would trust them to keep making decisions based on what they've done so far. Well, let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think? Do you think Juneau's only going to have 5 ships? Do you think we're going to see 6, 7, 8 because small ships don't count? And then how about Celebrity now joining the ranks of those cruise ships that have overbooked? Again, what's going on? And finally, the condition of leaving somebody on a skid, on a pallet, after they passed away instead of in the morgue, saying, well, the morgue broke down, so the pallet in the freezer just seems to be good enough. Leave comments down below, and I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.